Welcome back to One Piece Anime Review, episode number 172. So I'm reviewing the 100, not 100, the 952nd episode of the anime, Tensions on Onigashima, the Encounter, the Two Emperors. Yeah. And the 997th chapter of the manga, Flames. Now this episode pretty much finishes up chapter 151 and starts chapter 150. It finishes up 951 and it starts 952. Yeah, for 951 it pretty much adapts pages 10 through 19, and for chapter 952 it's pages 2 through 4. They kind of rearranged it a bit, where the stuff happening in chapter 252, that's put kind of basically, they kind of rearranged a bit, where they kind of put the stuff with that before the actual encounter between Kaido and they put that toward the end of the episode. So the thing starts off basically sort of a recap in a way of Queen taking Big Mom to Kaido's place. Then later on, basically, well, we have her eating food. Before I continue now, there's also a few other basic cutaways. There's one basically where they actually extra scene of Kinemon, Dogstorm, and Asura when they're basically they basically just walk and they reveal what he wants to show them. Basically, it's a group of ships that he basically took, despite the fact that Kaido pretty much destroyed all the ports for Wano. Yep, took all the ships. Capable of holding thousands of warriors. And then, well, of course, Kinemon easily points, yeah. I mean, they'll be able to work. This guy gets a fixing him by Frank. Oh, they call him Frank is Nosuke. But basically, it's Frankie. So, there's that. And they also added an anime original scene, which this scene felt very necessary, especially since it kind of sets up some stuff in next week. We have Luffy and Boss Totoro basically sparring. Practicing Ryo, trying to master that. Ryo, it's the Wano version of hockey. That's a complete original scene. It's only seen about a couple minutes. It doesn't really affect the episode at all, but it's always nice to see Luffy pop up in an episode. Even though he's actually not in the pages they adapt, it doesn't hurt because he's the main character of the series. You gotta at least squeeze him in somehow. Even if he had put him in anime original stuff, he's still the main character. You gotta at least feature him. They probably did it, probably because it's probably mandatory. Maybe Oda probably told him to do it. It's possible. Then pretty much like right after that, well, we have Zoro versus the bandit he fought 20 episodes back. The one who actually took his sword. And we also see Momo's sister there watching, Hikaru, I think her name is. She's watching, of course, during the action fight. Zoro breaks one of the guy's staff weapons with his 720-pound Phoenix Cannon, which destroys the damn sword. And then pretty much then he asks him, are you enemy or ally? And he gets up, and of course, that's when Kamatsu shows up. He, of course, stops Battle, and of course, Hikaru sees him like, Kamatsu? And he's like, how do you know my name? Because I knew each other from flashback stuff. Cool. Now comes to the actual titular thing. This takes up about less time than it does in the manga. It's really quick. It's like, okay, you have Big Mom eating a bunch of big bowl of dumplings with, looks like soy sauce on it. And of course, she's telling Queen, can you take his handcuffs off? He's like, no. And of course, she makes offer to King. Because apparently King is one of those, part of a species that they have really explored in the series. Where I have 3 species not currently living in my country. Would you like to live there? Would you like to join me? And he's like, I refuse. Probably because he works for Kaido. He's one of his headliners. And then Kaido comes in, tells them that they have to take out the cuffs on her. And they probably think he's joking. And of course tells him, no, he's not joking. Take the cuffs off. And then she tells Napoleon, and of course he transforms into a sword mode. And they start brawling into the castle. And of course they take outside. That's that. And oh yeah, there's also this one scene they actually made a bit longer in the anime than they did in the manga. In the manga, this was only like just 2 pages. Actually, more like 1 page, this whole scene. Was in about 2 minutes. Where we have Brooke, Robin, and Usopp trying to get across to get on a boat to Kari. They're having Otama with them. So, they have to... Actually, it's Otaku. Yeah, it's Otaku. They... Of course, she's inside Brooke's row, even though Brooke has nobody working as a freaking skeleton. So, he basically intimidates the guy by basically having Robin and, of course, Usopp, who puts on a fake beard. And it basically has no problem. And then they get on a boat. And then, of course, well, they actually show the scene. Now, in the manga, it's basically shown at a distance where you have Robin and Brooke talking. The Robin, for some reason, refers to Brooke by his alias. I would think that they're alone, they're not around by him, but they can dress up by their real name. Which, I think that's kind of weird, the fact that it's like that. Oh, yeah, there's one other scene involving Frankie and Nami. I'll get to that. So, Robin asks Brooke to give her to her because, well, he has no body war because he's a freaking skeleton. And they, of course, Usopp brings to the fact, what are we going to say to her? And that's that scene. It's really brief. In the manga, this is like roughly like just 1 page. In the anime, it's just about a minute and a half. It's a very quick scene. I'm glad the fact it was extended from the anime. Now, they also had this really wonderful scene of Kensru taking the body of Yosuke, who's on her cloak, by the way. Carries him like a baby. Of course, he originally carried him like this. He's a gigantic being. So, the people of Esser Village asked him to take him to Cairo Valley to bury him. So, we have Frankie, who's converted a tiger into pretty much a motorcycle. Somehow he's able to do this. So, and of course, Nami's riding in the back, and of course, well, they take him away, and of course, he rides on the tiger too, and that's it. That's pretty much the episode. Yeah, I would say probably the only character who doesn't show up in this episode. I mean, they show up pretty much all the Straw Hats except for one. Like, Luffy's in the episode, so Zoro. I would say everybody's here except for... Well, the one I can think of who's not here is Sanji. Yeah, he's nowhere to be seen this episode. But I'm thinking, okay, where the heck is Sanji? Yeah, surprisingly, he's the one who's absent. And yeah, he's in the actual chapter of the manga. Alright, now moving on to new chapter of the manga. Flames. Ryu's request. A raccoon dog priest smacking Sanji's shoulders because he's too distracted by Zen's meditation. Basically, he's distracted by Nami. He gets bopped in the head. Chapter starts out with Sanji. Yeah, Sanji in the beginning, he's like, oh, like, here's something naughty. Like, he's like, come and save the woman, and it turns out, nope, it's a trap by, of course, the Amewaman. They trap him. And this lasts for briefly, like, oh. And of course, he's basically in front of a giant, beautiful woman. Who this woman is, I have no idea. Though apparently she's got sword. I get the fact she's got horns, but she also looks like she has swords in her hair. He's like, do you like him? Boy, don't stop on time if you want the truth. The truth is, I love you. He's like, eek! Yeah, he fell in love with a giant woman. Okay. I thought that was kind of funny. And then we see Luffy running with Jamie. He's like, where did Sanji go? I don't know. He rushed off, and a ferocious look in his eyes. They repeat the scene a little bit later. And then we see two headliners. Bazooka, who has a girl smile for looks like a woman trapped in the belly of a gorilla, which it looks kind of weird. I wouldn't be surprised if they kind of change this a bit in the anime. And there's Poker, a guy who basically has the ability who has legs of a snake. Yeah, he looks less creepy than what was going on with a woman. So they try to stop Jinbei and Luffy. And then we cut to Zoro basically finishing up a plot that started a few chapters back. Chopper's running despite the fact he's infected with the virus. Though, of course, we have X-Drake trying to stop Scratchman, Arco. And then Zoro's able to stop him finally and grab the antibodies. And then, of course, like, oh, you handle this floor now? You'll live, right? Of course. I figured out his words. Of course you would. Listen, everybody. Use fire on the ice, Onin. The virus is fused with gas that chills the body. Look at me. Once you stop chilling your body, you buy some fruits. I'm making enough antibiotics for you. I'm a doctor. If anybody, friend or foe, it's like, huh? Hang in there. Don't fall to victim of a heartless creep like him. And then, of course, Queen tries to fire a bazooka at him. Though he's stopped by frickin' Zoro. And he comes down with a waste of time, a bunch of nonsense. He comes basically a slice of Kaido. Of course, he does this little, huh? That was so funny. And then you see it look like Kaku's arm. Yep. Whole ceilings. Looks like looks like she had an artificial arm all along, which that's gonna be probably something explained later. We see a brief camp by Brook, basically wondering like, oh, Hockey, color the Supreme King. And then we see Marco flying about. We see King and Queen. Then we see Jinbei and we see briefly Tama and Nami riding on top of her basically a giant dog. Like everyone's like, what's with the shaking? Is that earthquake? Nope, it's not freaking earth. I didn't shake. It's never happened before. And then we see briefly the Heart Pirates out of the outfits they were given when they first showed up, and now they're basically back in their traditional attire. And then we see the giant woman, Haku, Captain Kid, and we cut to Yamato running with Subaru and Momo, like dragon, like something called Flame calls me. Kaido has sent Ozama, the island he runs, afloat. He's gonna move the entire island to the Flower Capital. Are you satisfied yet? Kaizu's finished. Want to know more? So new, so we become a pirate stronghold. Let's begin this world of violence. Ooh. Yeah, what a great cliffhanger, seeing that the fact that Kaido's base is floating. Yep. Oh, I give this chapter roughly a 10 out of 10 because of that shocking cliffhanger. At least they didn't wait to explain, like, wait, what the, why in the world is this island floating for? Oh, wait, it's Kaido's doing. Yep, great chapter, 10 out of 10. Can't wait for the next chapter, which comes out in 2 weeks. Like, damn, no new chapter next week. Yeah, I think a lot of people were really hoping that we would get to the chapter 1000 this year. But that's not going to happen. Nope. Yeah, so there's only like 3 chapters left before we reach 1000 now. Yeah, this is chapter 997. So, next up the third. So, 1, 2. Well, they might take a week off just prior to releasing chapter 1000. I mean, 13 is going to be chapter 998. 20 is going to be 999. And, well, it could be possible. Yes. Nothing says it can't. Yeah, I'm looking at the calendar right now on my laptop. And I'm thinking, they're like, okay, next episode is released the 13th. Okay, it'll be 998. This will be 999. Unless somehow they're going to take another week off for... Unless somehow they take a week off for Christmas. They'll probably release 1000 before Christmas, or probably releasing... 1000 is going to release either December 27th or January 3rd of next year. One of those 2 days. Don't know which. Hopefully get a chance to see you soon. Okay, so... That's it for Single Review. My next review is a review of the newest chapter of My Hero Academia. Okay, see you next video. Bye.